Hello. Now we are gonna talk about parts of a seed. Well, parts of a lima bean. Well, if you've seen a lima bean, they have many different parts. Some parts are like the seed coat. The seed coat is the outer protective skin covering the seed that's inside. So the outside covering the seed, basically. And then you have the embryo. The embryo is the developing plants that's still inside like the seed. So if you see like a little leafy thing coming out, like a little stemmy leaf coming out of a lima bean, that's totally normal. Don't take it out. It's the developing plant. So once you put it in the water, the right environment, it's going to grow. And last is the cotyledon, which is part of the seed, which contains like the food which is used to grow later on. Like basically it's where the seed keeps all the food supply so the embryo can grow like to become a plant. So those are the three main parts that you need to know of a lima bean. The seed coat, the cotyledon, and the embryo. Those are the three main parts. And these all come in the lima bean. So if you ever have the chance to see a lima bean, those are the three main parts you should look for, because the embryo is really important, so is the cotyledon, so is the seed coat, because the seed coat protects. The cotyledon gives the seed food, and the embryo helps the plant develop, where like the embryo is the developing plant inside of the seed. Now we're going to talk about germination. Okay, what is germination, you might ask? Germination is the seed development. Well, for the seed development, it starts out on its second day with just a seed in the soil, wet, moist, and starts to grow its roots. And then, like around the 5th or so day, it starts growing more roots, and the cotyledon, it's from like the cotyledon, it's like all the nutrients it's stored, all the food it's stored, it's helping it out now at this point. So all the nutrients are kicking in and it's helping out, and then like around the 7th day it grows a bunch of more roots, and it has completely all its roots probably by then, and the seed coat starts going off and the seed starts opening a bit. Around like the 9th or so day, a leaf and its stem starts coming out of the seed. So now the seed has opened and it has let the embryo grow. Sorry. And then around 11th or so, new leaves develop, and it's a bigger stem with more leaves. And it depends what seed it is. So if like you're growing a flower, the flower won't grow till a little longer, but it's like around the 11th the 11th day, or like in a few weeks, you would see a big stem with many leaves, and then the flower will grow. That's how a plant is developed, by germination. And then this whole process happens again because more seeds come out. For example, a sunflower seed. Those give you more seeds and you can plant more sunflowers.
Today we're going to be learning about the water transport systems, and the plants have two different transport systems. For the transportation of the substance using two different types of transport tissue. Exemia transports water to salts from the roots and to the leaves, while Poemia transports food to the leaves and the rest of the plant. Transportation is a process by which water evaporates from the leaves, which results in more water being drawn up from the from the roots. Plants have adaptations to reduce excessive water loss. That sounds really cool. Did you know that? Exemia and Pohemia. Plants have two transport systems to move food, water and minerals through the roots. Stems and leaves are another way to transport. These systems use continuous tubes called exemia and phloemia and work together. They are known as the vascular bundles. These things work together to make the water transport throughout. Exemia vessels are included in the movement of water through the plant, from its roots to its leaves via the stem. During the process, 1. Water is absorbed from the soil through the root hair cells. 2. Water moves from the osmosis from the root cell to the root cell until it reaches the exemia. 3. It transports through the exemia vessels up the stem to the leaves. 4. It evaporates from the leaves, which is called transpiration. For the Pohemia vessels are involved in translocation. This involves sugars produced during photosynthesis as another soluble food molecules, and it's moved through the leaves, growing tissue into the tips of the roots. In photosynthesis, it's making plant for the food so that it can survive on its own. The plant creates its own food, which can feed its embryos, which it will let go of later, which are seeds, that can create other flowers, making more flowers today. And this just goes through simple plants that we never thought did anything, or some considered non-living. So, some more on transport systems of the plant is that the transpiration. Water on the surface is a spongy and pascally itself inside the leaves, evaporates and diffuses out of the leaf. It is called transpiration. So while this is happening, it's taking out these little cells inside of the leaf with the water, evaporating into the sky, making more water come out from the sky. So it's showing that even though the leaf has water coming out from it, it's taking a little bit of the cell and bringing it up with the water and evaporating into the sky, which is kind of part of a water system, if you know what that is. More water is drawn out of the exemia cells inside the leaf, replaced that has been lost. Water molecules have tendency to stick together. So as the water leaves the exemia to enter the leaf, more water is pulled out behind it. So even though it's holding capacity of a little bit of water, with just the little water that's going into it, it's going to pull it all out, taking out water, making it less liquidy inside for the plant, which could potentially kill it if you didn't have a good source of rain. As the water moves into the root hair cell down, the conservation granny.
So today we're going to be learning about two topics. Those two topics are the parts of the plant and monocot and a dicot. Now, the parts of the plant. There's different parts of the plant. However, the most popular ones are the roots, which grow out of the ground, the leaf, which come out of the stem, the ovary, the style, the stigma, and the petals. And now, the parts of the plant usually could also relate to plants because they're usually really similar, except that plants mostly have leaves instead of petals, and some don't have stigma. And monocot and dicot. The monocot and dicot are different from each other because the monocot is one seed. It's all together and it's not separate. However, dicot is separated into two. They're separated. And a monocot also have longer leaves. They're longer and more narrow leaves.
However, a dicot have small, short leaves. And a monocot grows into 3 petals, which are the petals are also known as a floral part. And a dicot, it grows into 4 or 5 petals, which are also known as floral parts. However, a monocot and a dicot are also similar in a few ways. And a monocot and a dicot is a very important way to tell the differences between some plants. The next picture is going to explain a little bit more about a monocot and a dicot, their differences, similarities, and a little bit more about themselves. Bye!